the Memorial Day Murph. So here we have the setup and the workout.
You may have heard of the Memorial Day Murph. This is about showing up. We practice what we preach. Busy guys juggling work, family, faith, spirituality, and a burning desire to be better men. We're taking on the Murph today, not to impress, but to honor, to push ourselves, to remember what matters. Let's get after it.
Sounds good, Jose. So with this Murph challenge, what was the first thing that was going through your mind before we even started?
I knew it was gonna suck because it's wearing a 20-pound ruck, then running a mile, doing 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then finishing up with another mile run, all while wearing that 20-pound ruck.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I knew it was gonna suck a little bit, but in some ways, you know, I was looking forward to it because it's a challenge. Yeah, I like pushing the body, I like pushing the mind, so I thought it was a cool idea, and it was your idea, not my idea.
It was my idea, that's true.
Well, now this idea you got, the Memorial Day Murph, where did this whole idea even come from? Like, why are people doing it?
So my wife and I both served in the Air Force. I did 10 years, she did 6 years, and what happened is that we would often go to these fitness challenges. We were both part of this CrossFit gym, and we learned about the Murph, which is to pay tribute to Lieutenant Michael Murphy, who honorably died in the line of duty on June 28th, 2005 in Afghanistan. And so we're doing this basically to challenge ourselves and to push ourselves through our limit, but it's almost like, you know, camaraderie and esprit de corps, and doing something as part of the community that's going to challenge you and being part of a team, being bigger than yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's partially about yourself, pushing yourself, but it's a great way just to remember, you know, people who have served in our country. So cool idea.
No, exactly. So you start off with the run. Steve, what was going on in your mind when we just first started with the run?
You know, the run, I wasn't too worried about the run because of my background of, you know, competing in different triathlons and just being big into mountain biking. I knew I had a good aerobic base, so the run wasn't really what was concerning me.
All right. For me, the run was, I'm not the biggest runner, but I did try to train for this a little bit with the run, and to me, actually, the run was actually the easiest part. Which leads us to the next part.
Oh, yeah.
100 pull-ups. All right. Personally, for me, that was the hardest part. Took me forever to do it, but I did it. Steve killed it. He did it within like 5 minutes or less. It was insane. What did you think?
That's actually where I thought I was just gonna bottom out. Surprisingly, even though my background's more like in endurance, you're right, the pull-ups it was a little easier than I anticipated. Now, I say that very cautiously because it wasn't easy by any means. I had to be strategic. I had to pace myself where I started out with, I don't remember, it was like 15 pull-ups or something, and then I just gave myself some time. But I was surprised. That wasn't too bad.
All right. Then we have the push-ups. The push-ups, let me tell you what, 200 push-ups with a 20-pound rucksack on your back gets pretty dang tough after like 25 or 30. And we both work out. We did not train for this, by the way. We just wanted to do it. What did you think about the push-ups?
You know, the push-ups, I think out of, after the run was definitely the easy part. The squats, which we'll talk about next, I think was number 2. I think number 3 was probably the push-ups.
Yeah.
And when it comes to like toughness, I mean, the pull-ups are killers, but yeah, the push-ups were tough, but I don't know, I had a little bit of extra gas in the tank where I could go a little bit above the 200, so I didn't feel too bad, but again, I think it came down to pacing. Yeah. Because there's no way if I knocked out like say 50 or so push-ups in the beginning, I would have been toast. So
yeah, no, for sure. And as you can see there, we're both struggling, mainly me, but hey, that's all part of it. You can do this too. So the squats, the air squats to me were actually the easiest thing. Not because they're easy, but it's because you're kind of going up and down with big, powerful leg muscles that you already have. And that was actually very manageable. I think we just did them with, what, 30 in a row or 25 in a row after a while. And it was manageable, but it did suck in a really, really, really good way. What do you think, Steve?
I agree. Yeah, I think the squats, they weren't too bad. Again, pacing was like the magic sauce. And plus also, I think we were well prepared for the squats because a lot of times in our training program, being hybrid based, and we're out there mountain biking or hiking, that we're using our legs all the time. So
exactly.
I think that if we would train, we really wouldn't need to change too much, to get through that part of it.
For sure. Then ending it with another mile run.
How are your legs feeling?
A little tired. How are yours?
Pretty.
Pretty.
Pretty freaking tired.
Boy, that was tough after you're just exhausted and dying. Why do you think suffering through this specific workout is such a meaningful way to show respect?
Well, I think, we can remember people and remember their actions and remember what the military does for us, which we take for granted day after day. But if you're actually pushing yourself to provide tribute to somebody or something, it makes it feel more real. It's one thing just to think about it. It's another thing to, as you're doing this event, to really almost like truly feel the pain in a way. So it's a way to feel part of something, but to remind you that, hey, we got it pretty darn good.
You could do this too. It's a lot of fun, and might as well challenge yourself while you're young and alive.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to push yourself because ultimately it's going to make you stronger, physically, of course, but mentally and emotionally. And we talk a lot about that on this channel with Grit Hybrid Training, that it's not about just the physicality or being the next like YouTube person out there that's buff, or it's more to that. It's about being present. You got to be mentally strong to be present because you got to work, then you got to be present for your family, working with patients.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, no, for sure.
So it's key.
All right, well, we hope you enjoyed this episode, watching us, mainly me, suffer, because Steve's like a crazy endurance athlete. I'm getting there. But until next time, stay gritty. Take care.